speaking on regulation and about financial services regulation, there has been a thawing of sorts between Switzerland and European community in the last few weeks. We have seen an agreement on the automatic exchange of information, and also Switzerland seems to be well placed concerning the AFMD passport for the European market. So everything looks fine for Switzerland to get a better market access, or looks deceiving?
Yeah, sure. I completely agree. ESMA has approved the technical equivalence between the Collective Investment Scheme Act and the AFMD. Right. That means technically we have the equivalence. However, now it's getting the political aspects as well, and we need to consider them carefully in order to judge on whether practically we get access to the European market and when we get access to the European market. Right. Having said that, I think we need to consider three aspects. One is the mass immigration initiative, which is as well in the air and on the political agenda at the European bodies. The second element is that even within the European Union, they haven't implemented the AFMD properly and completely. So there are a couple of Eastern European countries where they haven't really implemented that directive, which means we will get pushback from the European countries that they're not granting access to certain countries before they have implemented the directive in the European Union as such, because otherwise they would grant third-party countries access to the European market, and not even within Europe they have the same level playing field. And the third aspect is that, as I've heard some rumors from as well the European bodies around to grant access, how and when to grant access to certain countries is to avoid a kind of unequal treatment of certain countries within the certain countries as such, which means that why shall the European Union grant access to Switzerland, but they're not granting access to the US at the same stage? So that will lead, in the eyes of the European Union, to a kind of unequal treatment of the third countries, and they want to avoid that. Obviously, that argument is as well taken to push back for certain markets in order to protect as well the financial market in the European Union. But I'm not optimistic that we will get access that quickly. I think it will take much longer than we have expected, just because of these political aspects I've mentioned.
You say much longer? How much longer?
I think it might take 3 to 5 years.
Okay, this will be, I think, quite a blow for the whole discussion. Also, there is a large financial regulations reform taking place in Switzerland right now, with the new Financial Services Act, for example, who's going in parliamentary debate in spring, next spring. And so all this struggle and all this debate, you say, which was really all about or founded on the hope that we would get a better market access to Europe. So this is sort of a moot point right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should always consider that it is the first time European Union will grant access to certain countries to their marketplace. They haven't done that before. It's unique. They need to learn around that as well, to open up their markets and share basically the market with third parties. And as we know, there are different countries with different politics and different focus of politics as well, part of the European Union. They have as well different interests around having competitors accessing the European market. And I believe we will see more pushback than we have seen right now. Nevertheless, for Switzerland, we don't have an alternative. We don't have an option. It's not just about having access to the European market. It's as well having the same legal environment or similar rules applicable to Swiss multinationals having operations in the European Union as well as in Switzerland, which is an important point because we need to make sure that the costs of implementing regulation is manageable as well, and the cost obviously is significant higher. They have to implement different rules in different countries. So the more we have similar rules, it is increasing the competitiveness of the Swiss players because they don't have to bear additional costs of implementing specific Swiss rules. In addition to the European Union rules, they have to implement anyway because most of them have some operations in the EU anyway.
Well, these seem very sensible arguments, but it's a political debate right now, and do you think that that's also politics and different lobby formations really see what's at stake with the new regulation?
I mean, I think, we see a lot of different stakeholders in the Swiss financial service arena as well. So we have the local player. Of course, they fear they have to adopt a higher regulatory environment to their local business. Then we have the multinational players. They are fearing having different rules in different countries. I mean, we see that in different areas. It's not just impacting banking, it's as well impacting insurance industry. All of these global players and they have to adapt their business models to the different rules. And I think for them, it's really a question of cost, rather than just a question of having a disadvantage through specific regulatory changes. And so we shouldn't underestimate the local domestic market players. They're important for Switzerland as well. And they're having a strong lobby. And they're pushing for lower rules, but these lower rules do impact then their own expansion plans if they want to expand into European Union countries or even as well to US. To the extent we're not seen as having equivalent rules for financial service